This edition of Tech Update is brought to you by WebWatcher. Find out more information at webwatchernow.com. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Update number 253, 254, 253, I think. Who cares? The point is that we're doing Tech Update, and I haven't done one of these for a while. And I actually have a new schedule for these episodes. They're going to be recorded on, obviously not this week, but in the coming week, starting next week, they're going to be recorded on Monday and Thursday and be released on Tuesday and Friday. Anywhere you're listening or watching this episode now is where you'll be able to find it then as well. Since YouTube has upped their limit to 15 minutes, I can work with 15 minutes on these episodes. 10 was a little much, but now I can put video versions of this show out on YouTube for each and every episode. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube yet and you want video, go to youtube.com/WindowsGuru84 and you can subscribe there. Now, the first thing that I have to talk about today, I haven't been able to cover this yet, is this thing. The Magic Trackpad from Apple. Let your fingers do the clicking, scrolling, and swiping. I thought I could already do that on my MacBook Pro, even though I don't have a MacBook Pro. Speaking from an Apple user's point of view, I thought I could already do that on my MacBook Pro. If you have an iMac, I don't understand why you want this either, because all the functionality of this I have recently found out is also in the Magic Mouse. I don't understand why anybody is buying this thing at all. I don't see a use case for this. That's my only problem with it. I mean, it's a big, huge trackpad. Yeah, okay, that's cool. It's got all the gestures of the trackpads on the MacBook Pros, where it's a single glass thing and the whole thing is a clicky button and all that stuff. But what is the use case for this? I mean, maybe if you're, I was talking about this earlier on the live stream at live.combs.tv, and I said maybe somebody would use this if they were editing photos and they wanted to easily zoom or rotate or, whatever. But you can do that in the Magic Mouse. I don't get it. I don't think it's worth $70. Somebody else said, to quote an anonymous chatter, Apple fanboys don't think for themselves. They'll pay $70 for something that's a big trackpad and looks nice, and it's wireless. Gotta have wireless. Moving on into mobile news. Android sales overtake iPhone sales in the U.S. Sale of Google Android phones in the U.S. are rising quickly. The devices have outsold Apple handsets for the first time on record. New smartphone subscribers are choosing Google phones, which accounted for 27% of U.S. smartphone sales, while iPhones only accounted for 23% of U.S. sales. Now, this is something that we've almost seen before, and it's not really a fair fight because obviously iOS is only on one device, and that's the iPhone. I mean, there's variations of the iPhone if you're on an older one, but for the most part, it's really only on one OS, or one device rather, just the iPhone. And Android is on probably hundreds of devices by now. Could at least run Android if they don't already have it. So it's not really fair to say that it's overtaken Apple, but it's still, or iPhone, but it still kind of has, considering they have 27% compared to 23% by Apple. Of course, RIM, being BlackBerry, is still the most dominant one here. As you can see on this graph here I pulled up from gigaohm.com. This is a map here. If you're not watching video, then I'll read some of this out. Next desired smartphone OS. What do people want next? Well, this shows that 71% of Android users are satisfied with Android and want to keep it as their next OS, whereas 89% of iPhone users want to keep iOS as their next mobile OS. So I guess people aren't as satisfied with Android as they are with the iPhone, but then again, the iPhone is a lot simpler than any Android phone. I've been saying for a while now, ever since Android started to get popular, that if you want a simple phone controlled in a closed environment, get an iPhone. And if you're a geek, if you're a PC type person, and you love customizing Windows and Linux, and yeah, build your own stuff. If you're that kind of person, get Android because you have much more control over it. BlackBerry owners is saying 42% of BlackBerry owners want BlackBerry as their next phone. 29% want an iPhone, and 21% want a Android phone. So it's pretty evenly spread out there. Obviously, BlackBerry has the lowest rate of people who want to use a BlackBerry after their current BlackBerry. I'm not surprised. Blackberries suck. I know that because I've been a BlackBerry owner. Blackberries suck. I mean, if you're in business and you actually use all the features of it, it's great. If you're just a regular old smartphone user, it sucks. I was stuck using one for way too long. While we're on Android news, no hotspot, no tethering for the Motorola Droid. Verizon Wireless announced on July 30th that the Motorola Droid will receive the Android 2.2 update starting the week of August 2nd. 2.2 natively supports tethering and Wi-Fi hotspot creation. However, the Droid does not offer these features. This is the original Droid, of course, not the Droid X. Somebody from Verizon wrote to this site that I'm reading from, Phone Scoop, and said the Droid by Motorola doesn't have the hardware to support a mobile hotspot with tethering. There's no connection to the PC side that will allow you to tether the device, so the answer to that option isn't part of this update. That's what they said. However, keep in mind Android 2.2 on the Droid will offer a wide range of other improvements, including better security, Flash Player 10.1, voice dialing via Bluetooth, and improved camera performance. Who gives a shit? If I have a Droid, I want to tether. If I have any Android phone, I want to tether. I'm disappointed. But the hardware isn't there. So what can I say? Upgraded the Droid X, I guess. In Microsoft news, Microsoft has announced pricing and shipping dates for Office for Mac 2011, starting at $119, and it'll ship towards the end of this year. You can go all the way up to $279 for Office for Mac with everything. Obviously, the $199 is the student edition and comes with a lot less stuff. In other news, Amazon says, I don't get this one either. Amazon says the new Kindle e-readers are sold out already. Amazon.com says it's already sold out of the 2 brand new models of the Kindle ebook readers. A spokesman confirmed on Monday that the company is temporarily sold out of all Kindle models except for the DX. Both of the new models can wirelessly download books. A $189 model does so over 3G cellular networks, and the Wi-Fi only model for $139 uses Wi-Fi. And I have to say, I'm really glad that they brought the price down, the Wi-Fi, to $139, because as soon as the iPad came out, I said the Kindle's dead. Kindle is dead in the water. It's done. No one's going to buy them anymore at all. And then they dropped the price. So if you're looking for a good ebook reader and you want something cheaper than the Nook and the Sony one and the other ebook readers that are out there now, take a look at the Kindle. You can get the Wi-Fi only version for $139. Of course, it is sold out, but if you really want one right now, you can order the whopping $379 Kindle DX. Have fun with your $379 DX. I got time for 1 or 2 more before I gotta head on out of here for the day. This story really pissed me off because I just don't get it. This is from NewYorkTimes.com, and I'm gonna read part of this. The guy who wrote this post said, "A few weeks ago, I decided to go over to a local Manhattan coffee shop for an afternoon cappuccino. After placing my order, I sat down at a table and pulled out my Amazon Kindle. Barely made a sentence into the ebook I was reading before an employee of the coffee shop came over, stood up, and said, 'Excuse me, sir, but we don't allow computers in this coffee shop.'" Now, the guy tried to argue that it wasn't a computer, it was an ebook reader. But apparently this coffee shop has this horrible thing where they don't allow computers, and they're not the only one. There's several coffee shops all around, mainly in New York, but there's been reports of this all over the country now, that coffee shops are starting to say no computers, no iPads, no Kindles, no electronic devices that's not a cell phone. I don't understand it. People go to a coffee shop for the Wi-Fi and to, have a sandwich, have a coffee, and, browse the web, do email, whatever. It doesn't make any sense to me that any public establishment is going to say no computer use allowed. Some of them are even saying no computer use from noon to 3 o'clock or just certain times of the day. But what's what is the benefit of reading on paper rather than reading on an ebook reader screen? And how does it benefit the coffee shop, or any establishment for that matter, to tell me that I can't read on a screen or have any computer-like devices? People are stupid. That's all I've got to say on this one. I just don't understand why anyone would do that. Everyone's using computers. Everyone's using portable computers these days. They've all got ebook readers. And to say that you can't have that kind of device in public, really, as a geek and as someone who uses technology 18 hours a day, it really gets to me. They need to change that. Because if I was that customer, if I was a customer at any business and they told me I can't use an ebook reader or a computer there, it would be the last time I'd be a customer there. I would never go there again. Internet Explorer gains market share at the expense of Firefox. This is not good news. Over 60% of Windows users are still using Internet Explorer, whereas 24% are using Firefox, and Google Chrome is still in the bottom range. They don't have, it's less than 12% are using Google Chrome. If you haven't checked out Google Chrome yet, I highly suggest you do. It's the only browser I'll use anymore, and I love the Chromium open source nightly builds as well. This is the last story I've got for you, and it's in video form. So I'll leave you with this video here in just a moment. But first, I want to thank our sponsor for this episode, WebWatcher. And if you run a business, if you're in IT for any kind of big business, you've got folks in offices or cubicles, you're going to want to take a look at WebWatcher. And what does it do? Well, it's security and monitoring software. It lets you record every email, all instant messages across the entire network, each website that your employees are going to, recording keystrokes, taking screenshots, content filtering, blocking websites, and it does it completely invisibly. The user never sees it's there, never has any idea it's there. So if you want to make sure that your employees are doing what they're supposed to do on your time, check out WebWatcher. And if you want a special discount, go to webwatcher.combs.tv. I think you get either 10 or 15% off there. So in our final story for the day, in Windows news, unfortunately, Windows Phone 7 is coming to Europe in October, in the United States in November, according to the Microsoft COO. That's all I'm going to say on this one. I'm going to play the video announcement of this for you. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. And remember, we still haven't given away that iPod Touch yet. We need like 14 more YouTube subs. So, sub to me on YouTube, Windows Guru 84, giving away an iPod Touch. 16 gig, 3rd generation with an iTunes card and other stuff that I'm going to throw in the box with it that's mystery stuff for you to find out about. And remember, we're streaming live, not 24 hours a day, but close to it, at live.combs.tv. See you in the next one.
Likely across the U.S. The game, we're back in this game. And this game is not over. Okay? There's 200 smartphones right now being sold. When you think about what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, there'll be 450 million smartphones that will be sold. More than double the number. And so what an opportunity we have to really go make change. When you look at this phone and they're showing you some of the UI, it's not like any phone you've ever seen from Microsoft. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a good thing.